the foundation is, Be'emet, our Gedolei Yisrael lived with waiting for the Mashiach. One of the big things the Gedolei Yisrael are talking a lot about is to ask Hashem, Be'emet, we want Hashem back with us. Not to give in to this concept of we're happy with the situation we're in. No, that's one of the things we're here in Israel, we're able to appreciate this much more. In America, I don't mean this in a bad way, people are very comfortable. And Baruch Hashem doesn't make us too comfortable in Israel because He wants us to always pray for that Geulah. They bring a story. I really hope it's not a true story, and I hope it's not a true story. There was a story that's brought down that there was a child who unfortunately had a lot of emotional difficulties, and they took him to therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists, and at one point they took him to one big specialist, and the specialist said, in order for him to be able to recuperate and to open up his emotional feelings, you have to send him away from his parents to a ward that he's going to be completely away from his parents and not talk to his parents too often. He has to be completely away. And the mother's like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not agreeing to such a thing. And the psychiatrist explained to them, listen, this is the best for your child, and this, that, and the father's thinking and contemplating everything is going back and forth. And finally, the father feels that, okay, if this is the best for the child, that's what we got to do. And he goes back home and he's talking to him, no, I'm not sending my kid away. He's 11 years old. I'm not sending him away, no. And there's balagan. And finally, the mother, without a choice, she agrees, okay, that's what he's got. And they come and they tell the kid, listen, you got to go away for a year, away from us. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving the house. No, what do you mean? I'm not leaving home. And they're like trying to explain to him, this is going to be the best for you and this, that. And then comes the day that Be'emet, he's going to be sent off to this institution. And this kid the whole time is crying. He's like, I don't want to go. Why do you have to send me away? I want to stay here. I'll be fine. And the parents and the mother is sobbing and crying. And, without a choice, they send the kid away. And they're only allowing him to call home once a month. And find them the whole month. This mother is crying. Where's my child? Why they send him away? I want him near me and this, that. And finally the kid calls. After a month, the kid calls. And Mommy, I want to come back. And the Mommy's crying and crying and crying. And the girl, I know, but this is the best for you. This is the best thing for you. And again, hang up the phone. The floor is filled with tears. The mother is like, why did they send my kid away and everything? So the next month, the kid calls away and goes, Mommy, I want to come back home. I really want to come back home. Please, I want to come back home. And the mother's like, no, don't worry. It's the best thing for you. Don't worry. We're still... The third month, the kid doesn't call. He doesn't call. And Be'emet, the mother's like, what's going on? Why hasn't he called this, that? They call the ward and they say, listen, if he hasn't called, he's only allowed to call you next month. And by the following month, the kid calls and says, hi, how you doing? How's everything? Yeah. And the mother bursts out. She's like, no, he's not even connected anymore. He doesn't want to come back home. At least then he wanted to come back. She's like, what is he doing to my child? And the mother's like fuming. And I go, no, before he wanted to come back home, he doesn't want to come back home now. And they're waiting for the fifth month, and the kid calls, hi, yeah, it's okay, I have a game, it's okay if I talk to you later. And he hangs up the phone. The Mefarshim say, again, I don't know if it's a true story or not, that's the mashal between what's going on with us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In the beginning, when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, we still wanted to go back home. We were crying, we want to come back home, Sadly to say, sometimes now, after all these years, we start getting sometimes too comfortable. What's our avodah? To Be'emet utilize our power of tefillah, ask Hashem, they should bring us to Geulah Shlema B'mehara B'yameinu Amen.